looks like a man. Well, no, that lamb just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarms setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Michael. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
Everybody to PEN. Welcome to Pema TV.
Welcome to November 16th, 2012.
Yes.
And
already
the stupid Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, just to say that a little bit. Yeah. We're glad everybody could be here tonight. A couple of real quick things. We do have a link exchange program going on. I just want to remind everybody. Up above, you'll see a tab, one of the tabs that says links on the website. If you'd like to exchange links with us, just contact us here. Or find us on Facebook. If you've never heard of Facebook, down below the chat box, there's our social media buttons with every place that we are at. You can contact us at any one of those places, but please follow us. Click follow us.
Yes, please click follow us because he's having a fit.
Hey, it's not so much a fit anymore.
It's a fit.
Do have a whole bunch of new shows coming. We do want everybody to be safe next week. If you're traveling on holiday weeks, always be safe. You won't see us until after the holidays, so we wanted to say now, Happy Thanksgiving.
After the holidays or after Thanksgiving?
Holiday.
I was going to say, we get a 7-week break and no one told me?
I do. I don't know what you're doing. I'm just kidding. But yeah, everybody just be sure and travel safe this week. It's crazy out there.
Yeah.
Definitely nuts. And buy all the Twinkies you can. Because they are fixing to go up in value. I'm pretty sure on the Antiques Roadshow we're going to see some Twinkies before it's all over with.
Well, the ones I liked are already on the Antiques Roadshow because I like the old banana ones.
Yeah. But tonight on Pema TV we are joined by some really good friends of ours, and unfortunately we haven't seen them in quite a while.
We met them a little over 2 years ago at Scarefest. They had a booth. We tormented them until they left their booth. Yeah.
And then we stalked them and bullied them until they became our friends.
That's right.
Go us. But tonight we are joined by Halo Paranormal, also known as
Bret and Regina.
Hi guys, how are y'all?
Hey, how are you doing?
How's it going?
If I was a puppy, I'd need two tails.
And I'd run over one of them.
Yeah, yes you would.
So how's it going up there, guys?
We have been really, really busy.
Very.
Really?
How are things in Texas?
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy-ish.
Busy's good.
Well, it keeps me out of the 7-Elevens at night.
I don't know. I just got back from Frankenstorm, so I'm still trying to get over that.
Yeah.
I saw some posts where you were making some rounds to some pretty cool places.
Oh yeah, it was a whirlwind tour. We flew into Philadelphia Friday. Saturday we were at Valley Forge. We were at Fort Mifflin. Sunday we drove up to Gettysburg. Monday we drove really fast back to get away from Frankenstorm.
Ow.
And then the next Sunday we went up to the Shanley Hotel.
Wow.
That sounds like a great trip.
Oh, had a blast.
She's a jet set paranormal investigator. She can't help it.
I guess so.
That's a lot of
That's more traveling than rock stars right there.
wonderful locations.
It was so cool to get them all in one group, because last year I had gone up at the same time, and we were supposed to go to Valley Forge, but that freak blizzard came in. Apparently I'm only invited up there when there's freak storms. So we made it to the Shanley, but we had to run out of there real quick, and we made it to Gettysburg, but this is my first time at Valley Forge or Fort Mifflin.
Great.
And I got to go in Casemate 11. Yay!
Wow. Yeah, we're actually still trying to get up to Gettysburg. You know, of course, around where we're at, there's so many battlefields and famous battlefields, and we're do a lot of investigating where we'll come across soldiers and spirits of soldiers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but Gettysburg's on the list for us, with just trying to fit it in.
Oh,
Up there.
I had the perfect place for you up there. It's called the Battlefield Bed and Breakfast. It's actually on the South Battlefield.
Oh.
And the original part of the house, you can, it's a bed and breakfast. They built onto, I think in the 70s they put the additions on. But you can still sleep in the old part that was built in 1809. I mean, it was taken over by the military and used as a hospital and all kinds of stuff. And we've got some cool stuff up there.
Yeah, anytime we did a couple recording studios here down on the road, and we live in the Nashville area, for anybody that doesn't know. So of course, the music aspect of it, and one of them, the building is so old that it was at one time an old church, and then they used it as a makeshift hospital in the war. So they were getting so much stuff in there that the studio owner, he called us in. He goes, I'm losing like major clients in this place because they're too afraid to record here. And he swore us to secrecy and all that. And so, and it was an extremely active place. But we think most of it had to do with what happened with the Civil War and the hospital and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, this particular bed and breakfast, the Gettysburg battle lasted for 3 days. It was taken over on the third day. But I mean, it's 10 minutes from the Jenny Wade house and
Nice.
all that kind of stuff. And the lady who owns it is great, and the food is even better. Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely get the name from you again before we go. It sounds like a great place to stay.
You know, we get up close to there. We've been to Ohio several times on Bigfoot stuff and a couple investigations up there, and we're like, man, it's not even that far away from where we were at in Ohio, but just haven't made it all the way over there yet. So,
Well, Mary to get my co-host on Mondays puts together a few events up there during the year at that bed and breakfast. And we always have a blast. So if you want, I'll yell next time we're heading up there.
Do that.
yeah, let us know.
Well,
That's quite a trip for you guys now, right?
Just a little trip.
it all depends on what country we be going from.
Right?
If you guys, just so our viewers will know, you guys, like you said, you're based out of the Nashville area, but you guys are also a, how can I say this, a mixed team. By that I mean you do have certain metaphysical abilities that you don't necessarily rely on, but you do trust.
Yeah. I mean, especially when it comes to like the spirit box stuff that we do, and we do believe in that aspect of bringing that into investigative work. Matter of fact, we're starting to do some experimenting now with spirit box and bringing in mediums. So we sort of have like the medium and an electronic medium type combination. And we just did a case last weekend for we did a local TV show here, and the lady in Kentucky had seen it and had contacted us about trying to get do a spirit box session to get in contact with if we could get in contact with her niece. Her niece had died and had been ruled a suicide, and she thought there was more to the story than that. So she came down, and we invited a medium friend from in Murfreesboro to attend also, and see if we could get what he was picking up and kind of follow along with it through the spirit box. And it was just an awesome session. He picked up stuff right away, and then once we were able to continue on, and we're able to reach each in the session, and got names that were coming out that turned out to be the deceased boyfriend. We got first and last name, but the important thing was that in the end of it all, that her aunt was able to get some closure and some peace from it, because she did find out exactly what had happened, and what her niece had actually done and why, and a lot more details about it. So it was very, very good for her, and probably very good for her niece on the other side. I mean, I think a lot of people don't really understand or think about that the spirits on the other side are just as important as us on this side. And you help a lot of times, it works both ways.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And it feels good to be able to help people like that, and use, use that particular, tool that we use to in investigations, and plus to help people like that. I mean, that was just a little session that we had, in our home for someone. So.
Well, that's Kim and I have always kind of preached that too. You have to be in this for the right reasons. You have to be be motivated to help people, whether they're living or dead.
It's all about your intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going into places to have things throw rocks at you, come stand in my front yard, I'll help you out.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Well, and respect. I mean,
yeah.
Every situation that we go into, even if people are complaining, thinking too much stuff gets blamed on demons and everything, because of these TV shows and movies and all this stuff. Everybody thinks everything's a demon.
Right.
No matter what. I mean, it's just so overblown. And I can tell you, we've been in some of the most haunted, darkest place. I mean, every kind of, if there was demons out there, they'd be in these places, and not one time ever have we ever come across what we would classify as a demon.
Neither have we.
There's mad, angry people, that carries over and gets maybe more bitter on that side, and maybe resent certain aspects of their life and try to take it out on the living. But as far as calling it demonic, no way.
Well, we've always said, if you were a jerk in this life, you're going to be a jerk, over on the other side as well. I mean, your personality, who you are, carries over.
Right, just like pranksters and, happy people and everybody else. I mean, you're not going to change just because you crossed over.
Yeah, I think with all everything that we've done, the evidence that we've accumulated, I can definitely say that, for sure, is that your personality, your memories, the essence of who you are really transfers. It carries over.
And of course, you're going to get those ones. And we've got regular EVPs, and we've got spirit box stuff. Well, they'll say they're a demon, just trying to scare you.
Right.
But not. I mean, and a lot of them feed off that, and we try to teach that to people. Fear is your worst enemy in this. And in fact, a lot of the paranormal activity that happens is really them seeking help. I mean, they're doing whatever they can to get our attention, and people are just afraid of it and run from them when that's the last thing that they're wanting. They're wanting help.
Well, it's the same thing when somebody seeks a team's help. 9 times out of 10, when somebody calls somebody else for help, they're at the end of their belief system. They don't know what. They can't explain it. They just want some answers. Like you said, they just want some peace of mind and some peace to whatever their situation is.
Yeah, and that's where the EVP work is so valuable. I mean, you can get EMF readings and every kind of all this gadgets that they got out now, but it really comes down to, if you're going to really find out what's going on a location, you're most likely going to get it through EVPs, and to find out who's there, why they're there, and to open up an actual dialogue to either assure the people that owns the property. I mean, a lot of times you figure out who's there, they're good with it. They lose that fear,
Right.
or find out why. And even if it's some kind of or if it's something residual, they can kind of live with it easier than that. They just, as long as they think they're not going to get harmed. But once the fear thing's taken out of it, most of the time people don't even want to cleanse their house. They're like, well, okay, we can handle this. They can stay here and we can coexist. That type of thing like that. So.
And a lot of people that call us, they're not even really that scared. They just want us to validate what they've been experiencing. They're not necessarily scared. They're not necessarily want to get rid of it. They just want to say, look, this is what I've been experiencing. I need you to come in because you do this all the time, and I need you to validate, what I've been experiencing. We get all types.
So do you think some of the EVP that you got saying I'm a demon, what was it from houses where maybe the client had called them a demon and they're like, okay, game on?
We mainly got them on the spirit box, which we just feel like they're just tricksters, just somebody that's trying to get us riled up and get us afraid, and it really turns out to be nothing. I
mean, we did a house in Dall, Tennessee that was a really old farmhouse, and they couldn't keep tenants in there. I mean, people would, the landlord said they literally would, like, no matter what lease they signed or anything, a month, 2 months tops, or they just start all living in one room. And, I'm sure you guys are running across stuff like that where people get so afraid of what's going on, they all just congregate in, like, the living room and start, staying there because they're too afraid to go in any other part of the house. And we had interviewed the neighbors, and they had said that they believed that there was some satanic worship going on in there. And we actually found an urn with ashes in it. It had been left upstairs. I kind of felt sorry for the person, really. I mean, it's like pretty disrespectful for that. But and when we were catching a lot of, a lot of times I can hear a lot of stuff and then catch it on tape, like clairaudient. And I had walked upstairs by myself and walked into a bedroom, and right off the bat I hear a very loud "get out," and I caught it on tape, and that's how the night started. But the house had a very dark energy to it, and you could tell a lot of negative stuff had been on in there. And you guys, I'm sure, like, the more that you do this and the more you open yourself up psychically, and doesn't mean that you're a psychic, but the more that you open yourself up psychically, because I really think everybody has psychic ability. It's just a matter of honing that skill and using it. But you can feel the energy change, and you can feel locations, like certain houses. And I remember doing a walkthrough a pretty famous bed and breakfast down in this area that's really, really old and has a lot of history to it. And I forget how many bedrooms it was, but on the walkthrough, we went through that with a friend of ours, and all three of us agreed on the energy in 3 particular rooms in the place. And at the end of it, the guy goes, well, that's just amazing. He goes, that's the 3 rooms where we're getting the most reports of stuff happening. So, you know, the energy changes and you can feel it. And the house up in Dahl, I mean, the whole place felt like that. I mean, you just walked in, it was like dark, dense. It was a heavy atmosphere. And so that kind of stuff probably did go on. And when we did a spirit box session in there at night, we got a lot of stuff like that was coming through. Dark forces are here, get out of here, you know, demons are here, all that kind of stuff. But it was just all trying to scare. I mean, that's the whole thing about it. I mean, a lot of people are just like, oh my God, there's demons in here. Let's pack up and run, you know?
Right. Well,
and that's exactly what they want. So we just never fall into that. I mean, we've caught stuff of children saying that. It sounds like child voices saying it. But a lot of times it does come through the spirit box. And most of the time we just take it like it's just the fear factor. They're just trying to scare you. And we don't do this without a guide, and we don't recommend anybody doing it without working with somebody on the other side.
We take a lot of precautions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a ton of stones and pendants and da-da-da-da-da. But actually what I was trying to say, and my mouth doesn't usually work as fast as my brain, or vice versa, I'm not sure how that works, is do you think that maybe the client or a friend of the client or whoever has said demon so many times that when you guys came in, you're getting it on EVP, you're getting it on the ghost box, whatever, because that's what they think they're wanting to hear?
I think that's a very good possibility, especially if it's a location where there's spirits in the house and they really do want the people out. And they hear these people say that, so they're like, hey, well, let's play up on this, you know.
Right.
We're going to be demons, so they'll leave.
Just like you would in life.
Yeah.
One particular location here in Lebanon, the residential home we did, perfect example. We could not, this particular person really felt like there was a demon in there. We got no evidence to back that up whatsoever, but we couldn't change this person's mind. You know, they were convinced that it was a demon. And, you know, the only thing we caught were just past homeowners who had died there, and they just didn't want to relinquish the house. So, but, you know, sometimes you just can't, you can give your, you know, opinion and tell the people what you found, and sometimes they just don't want to believe it.
We had a good place up in Lebanon too. The Cuz's Antique Mall.
Oh yeah, that's a great place.
And just for the record, that is not a Yeti head in the window.
I've actually checked it out at it. I didn't think it was either.
Well, Sterling, the guy who owns it, his dad had passed away a few years ago, and he had us in a few times, and he's all into this stuff. So if you guys want to go check it out, just go talk to him. We
walked around in there, and while we were walking around in there, we were like, man, this place it was almost like you could feel stuff. And I mean, I tend to believe that sometimes, you know, things can be, you know, drawn to an object. So you've got all those antiques in that very old building. I just think there was a lot of energy. There was a lot of stuff going on in there. I would love to get in there and investigate.
Oh yeah, Zappos would have to back up a semi at Cuz's.
Talk.
Absolutely.
Talk to Sterling. He has no problem with it at all. And the last time we were there, actually, one of the girls who was with us, Cynthia, you met Cynthia at Full Moon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was walking around, and the way it's set up, there's this. You go down the back alley, and there's this little door you can go into that sneaks straight up into Sterling's dad's office.
Oh.
So she started calling him a player. Oh, you got your women sneaking in the back, do you? I mean, she was playing around, but at the end of the night, everybody packed up everything and went out, and I was the last one to get all my gear together, and I was heading out the door. Sterling's sitting on the opposite side of the door watching, and this foot trolley moved. I did not touch it. He witnessed that I did not touch this thing, nor did I touch the door. All of a sudden, the floor trolley takes off, and one of those great big swinging doors smacks me clear in the elbow. And I turned around, looked at Cynthia. I said, "You started this."
Wow.
And I made her promise never to call the man a player again as long as I was in that building.
Yeah.
We get in there, I'll make sure not to do
He has some very, his father had a very eclectic eye for antiques.
Yes.
There's a lot of, well, there's no other way to say this, there's a lot of fertility stuff that's in there, whether it's Asian or African or European.
Yes.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah, I think last time we were in there, there was that gigantic statue of the American Indian. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, just something so unique that I've never seen before. I don't even know where you would put something like that. You'd have to have a palace to.
Did you guys happen to check out any of the stuff that was in the cabinets?
Yes, it's been so hard to put it in there.
Last time we were there, he actually had one of the look into kind of
They're display cabinets.
And he actually had some Nazi memorabilia and stuff in there that was the authentic stuff. It wasn't the copies and the.
Wow.
This was actual like Nazi patches and stuff.
Well, and he also has the electric chair that was actually used in Florida. And he's got a.
See that?
He's got a coffin.
And acquired that since we were in there.
Yeah.
He's got a coffin in the back from someone who was brought back to the U.S. from Asia, and it was just a transfer coffin.
Yeah. He's got some. Like I said, if Zaffis ever showed up there, he'd have to back up a semi because there's.
It makes me want to get in there even more.
There's some very interesting energy. I will say this: being on that square, and if you go on a weekend night, it's small town USA. All those kids have to do is ride around the square. Audio gets a little sketchy sometimes.
But luckily, it's starting to get cold.
Yeah. Well, then you know.
Yes.
Yeah. We actually just did the historic house up there, the Buchanan House down on Main Street. You guys have probably passed it. It's really Victorian.
Looks kind of like the Addams Family house.
Yeah,
right.
It's very noticeable. It's over by Sonic, and we've been there twice. Fabulous place, and they're going to be on the My Ghost Story show, and be using a lot of the evidence that we got there. So there's a lot of historic places there in Lebanon that's around that I'm sure got a lot of activity. And we lived real close to there for several years, but we kept getting these cases in Alabama, and,
Right.
like Kentucky, Ohio, even up you guys' way. Say, we used to live in St. Louis, and we're like, oh man, what's going on here? How come we can't get that many calls from
I know we're
actual
always
hometown?
driving somewhere really far. We couldn't get anywhere close.
Yep.
Right.
But we had done the research on the building that the antique mall is in, just because I'm nosy that way. I must mention the lady over at the archives. Don't tell her what you're there for. Tell her it's family. Otherwise, she will ignore you and be so rude. It's not even funny. But we also found out that where Cuz's Antique Store is now was actually the original market in the 1800s, and that the owner was murdered on his way home from work.
Oh, very interesting.
But the best I can do...
it gets better.
But yeah, apparently it was a 16-year-old mulatto who was in charge of this gang of older white gentlemen.
What?
Yeah, and he ordered the murder, and he was actually convicted of larceny 2 years before the murder and was supposed to serve 5 years and didn't. The year before this murder, he was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in the state pen. Wasn't there when he committed the murder. When he committed this one, again, sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole, and 10 years later was still on the census in his mother's house.
How did that
that's
happen?
justice.
Well, and
You tell me, and we'll both know this puzzle.
And for a lot of people that might not know what the terminology is, mulatto is a
Mixed race.
Mixed race.
But needless to say, in 1886, when this murder happened, mixed or anything but white would never gotten away with murder. Period.
Unless his dad.
Or leading a team of older white men.
Right. He was 16, and the youngest out of the group he was hanging out with was 19, and they went up to like 26, 27.
Makes you wonder what kind of power he had over these people.
Or who his dad was.
Yeah, who Daddy was.
I think it had a lot more to do with who Daddy was.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
And like Kim said, the way they got treated when they went to look for the archives, because the lady in the archives was in her 70s.
Yeah.
She's still trying to cover up the black eye for the town.
Yeah, we did a case in Lynchburg that was very, very similar to that. Prominent family, and
the whole town was covering it up.
You couldn't even write this stuff if you were trying to make it up. And
right.
This guy, one particular guy, because he was the son of this family, it was some really disturbing stuff.
And that was one location that you walked into and you felt a lot of like really negative energy and vibes, and it wasn't from whoever was dead in there, it was from what the living had done.
Absolutely.
While they were alive.
Yeah.
Well, when you go through the history, it says he was sitting over here at the Flying Jenny Saloon, and I asked her, I said, can you tell us where that was? Oh, it didn't exist.
Wow.
No, I have the history. It says it should be right. No, it wasn't there.
Yeah. Welcome to the South.
Well, and when we were getting ready to leave, if we asked her for anything, she'd kind of point or nudge, but she wouldn't actually help us in any way. And as we're leaving, she says, well, when y'all decide to come and check out your family, then let me know, and walked away from us.
Oh,
wow.
My goodness.
And bless her heart.
Yeah.
You know what that really means, right?
Oh,
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it
yes,
depends.
I do. Yes, ma'am.
There's a southern version, and then there's the really southern version.
That was the really southern version.
Yeah.
But you guys, the only reason I asked earlier about the spiritual aspect of stuff is because a lot of people, and I've noticed this, even some of the very, very scientific people in this quote-unquote field that we're all in, they're starting to become very, very open to the idea that what people have been doing as far as psychics and mediums, they're starting to become very, very open to the idea that it actually does exist. And I just wanted to make sure people know that you kind of can't classify teams like that anymore. You can't say people are all scientific or they're all spiritual or whatever, because everybody's kind of doing a little bit of everything nowadays.
I think if you're researching the paranormal, just my opinion, I think you have to be. I think you have to be that open to, to everything.
Yeah, when we go to a location, we actually kind of mentally go into like that type of zone, like to open yourself up to fully expecting whatever's there to let us know it's there. And of course, you've got to logically debunk stuff, but we feel like if you don't open up, like we call it psychic awareness, that you're really blocking yourself out to that's going to be there. And even with the spirit box, like we found through our experiments, a lot of it has to do with who's operating the spirit box.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be, skeptical at certain points, but if you're too skeptical, you're really shutting yourself down to paranormal experiences.
We're even real selective on who we will investigate with, who we will allow to attend a spirit box session, because if you get somebody that's really a negative person or overly skeptical or doesn't even want to open himself up to the possibility of anything, it sort of just like blocks the whole energy, and it really is like an energy connection that you're doing when you're communicating with spirit. So you know, that's I'm glad that that's starting to come around like that, because we pretty much always operated like that.
So have we, for the most part. I mean, he's our techie side, and I'm the dowser.
Yeah, so we've always kind of our procedures have always kind of reflected, you know, a melding together, you know, of both sides. Perfect. But I mean, I just like to mention that because, like I said, there's a lot of people that if you watch too much of the infotainment of the paranormal, they think that you're either totally scientific or you're
totally metaphysical. There's no
happy medium.
Yeah.
And there's a happy medium. You know, I mean, I'm not wearing a gypsy dress and clinking bells and carrying a crystal ball or anything when I go on an investigation. But that doesn't mean that if I get a feeling about a place that I'm going to just discount it either.
Yeah, you got to. That's the number one tool in doing this type of work is your own intuitive nature that you've got to, you know, that you can use when whatever you're sensing yourself, and use your tools to pick that up. But you got to open yourself up to that. I mean, there's been a lot of times. I can tell you a recent case where we were doing an EVP session in a house in Alabama, and this young girl had died, and it was her bedroom, and I sensed something behind me in a closet, and the closet door was open, and I was actually holding a K2 meter and a recorder, and I just reached around. I didn't even turn around, but I just reached around to where I could feel this energy, and it actually set the K2 off. So it was, once again, like trusting what you feel that's around you and sensing the energy changes and stuff, because it's all about energy.
Yeah, and I'm the type, I'm kind of old school. I don't like to have all kinds of gadgets in my hand the whole time I'm investigating. I think it takes away from what I'm experiencing in the atmosphere in the location that I'm at. So you won't see me with too many, ghost hunting gadgets. It's usually a recorder or a camera.
Mine is usually a recorder stuffed in my pocket, a camera around my wrist, and my dowsing rods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point I'll put one of the three down and forget where I put it for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I just got a dolly. I mean, there has been times that I've had so much equipment that you can't carry it. You have to wheel it in. But then there's other times, and some of the best evidence we've ever got, like Kim said, is you go in there, you've got a flashlight if you need it, and a digital voice recorder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just it keeps me more in tune to what's going on around me rather than me sitting and looking at something the whole time.
Right.
It just keeps, I guess, my intuitiveness keeps me open to what's going on around me.
Well, and you're spending so much time juggling and trying to. Well, I need the camera, but here, let me put this in my pocket. And
yeah.
I
think you can miss stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it breaks the flow of everything. I mean, like once you start to kind of get into that zone and you start having to start messing with the equipment and something doesn't work right, or something, I mean, your whole mindset changes and your energy changes from it. So it is very disruptive. We try to keep it pretty simple, and we've been pretty successful results doing it that way. I mean, we will try something when it comes out, or...
And we have a few things that are on our wish list, I mean, that we want, but, we're not going to be the type that come in there with just, 200 different things.
Right. Yeah, most of my stuff fits in a very small camera bag.
I mean, we brought in, we've made, AeroQ CDs and stuff like that where we brought in and, we played stuff, depending on the situation. Like we did a hospital where we brought in some stuff and a bunch of hospital sounds, and it was effective. I mean, it worked. But, there's certain cases like we'll bring in extra stuff like that depending on, and then there's other times, like Gina said, I mean, we'll just keep it really, really basic. It just depends on what the location is and what went on there. But But we usually travel pretty light when it comes to equipment.
Well, it's easier that way. You show up with a black Suburban full of equipment. A lot of people are going, okay, where's the camera crew?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Is there anywhere you want? Do I need makeup? No, get in. and we've had teams tell us that
Mm-hmm.
you know they've been called out to a location and the client is either, okay, where's the camera crew, or there's like 9 of them sitting there with beers wanting to, watch the whole time you're out there. And it's like, yeah, neither one of those works, really.
Yeah.
No. That's a big problem that we're very strict about that, because that's happened. We've had a couple unfortunate things that happen like that where we showed we showed up and there was like an audience.
Right.
And it's just not going to work. We actually try to keep it really small, and there's sometimes it's just us two, and then we'll have different people that we work with, depending on where it's at and stuff. But we really, most of the time, 4 to 6 people. That's it, and a lot of times it's less than that. So we just had better results like that. You risk, there's less contamination, and if you get the right people and they're all kind of in, like we do try to work with people like Eric was talking about, that have a certain sense of psychic awareness or psychic ability. They can sense stuff, maybe empath, or, anything along those lines. We've always found that to be pretty beneficial. Granted, there's always those people out there that claim to be what they're not.
Right.
You can usually pick those out pretty quickly.
And sometimes the number of people that are with you, that can change on the size of the location too. If you're in a
Right.
40,000 square foot hospital or something, you could actually have more people because you could be in different locations at the same time. But for the smaller locations, 6 people's plenty.
Yeah.
For us, anyway.
Yeah.
4 or 5 usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've always been very, very curious. I understand that there are some groups that are in total large, but they don't show up in large groups. We know several groups that may have 12 or 14 members, but because of wherever everybody works, not everybody can be there all the time. So normally there is 5 or 6 at the most that'll show up at a location.
Yeah.
But if you, like you said, you're going to go somewhere, you need 14 people, you got them. But
Sure,
there's a lot of groups like that. But then, I think one thing that Kim and I have started to see in the last year or so is there's a lot of people that are just like the 4 of us.
Yes.
You break it down, unless it's just you just need the people for the place, you'd almost just rather go just the 2 of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe one or two more people, maybe 4 people, but that's it.
Yeah, we always, when we started out, of course, we're, married, but we wanted to, do this, and we didn't want a huge group or a quote unquote team. We wanted it, just to be us, but now we freelance, we work with a lot of other people. We kind of float around, or we invite some people, or they invite us. It just works.
We've been to the situation because we do UFO stuff as well. We do crypto stuff, especially leaning toward Bigfoot, and so it's different, kind of a different group for that. Or sometimes it's the same people that sort of into different genres like we are. So, but it gives you a flexibility working small to do like this, because you can whatever comes up. People you can work with for that particular thing, and it's worked out well for us, like doing it like that. But you're right. Some of the larger groups, it works for them too. It's just however you like doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask this question. You're on an investigation, a larger building, a larger group. Do you two investigate together?
I mean, it's not like a rule for us. We're usually together, but I mean, we've been broken up into groups before, separated. We've been fine with it.
So we're the strange ones.
Well, yeah.
Eric and I,
Very rarely.
unless it's a very small place, we don't investigate together. And it's not, I don't want to investigate with you. It's just we do completely opposite things. And as soon as we get everything set up, we just take off opposite ways.
Yeah. And
I will say that we get our best evidence when we're together. It seems like, like whatever energy we have going seems to get stronger when we're together. And, anytime we've ever caught either a great photograph or got a large number of great EVPs, it does seem like it's times when we've actually been walking around like practically beside each other. So,
it's normally we're on the same page with whatever our thoughts are or whatever we're picking up. I think we're usually like right there, thinking the same thing. So, that may be, we just kind of bounce ideas off of each other.
But there's been times, we did one investigation where they had an enormous amount of cats that had been in the location, and she is actually very allergic to them, and poor thing, she had to sit outside almost the whole night. And we've got to the point now where we bring masks, just in case, because these old buildings are mold and the dust and stuff. Not that every place we investigate is an old building, but this one was atrocious.
Well, you always forget you try to ask the owners or the people all kinds of questions, and I did not think to ask about any environmental issues, which is very important. Well, and we get into this house. I walk in there, and this overwhelming. It smells like 20 cats have been in there, and I'm talking, where they urinated everywhere on an old wood floor. So you can imagine how it's soaked in. I immediately ran outside and was just gagging. And I looked at the guy and I was like, he goes, "Oh, you didn't know about the cats?" I'm like, "Well, you didn't tell us about the cats." That would have been an important.
And the guy that had lived there not only he really did have about that many cats.
He was a hoarder.
He was a hoarder, and I guess they had to haul piles of stuff out. They said there was just a path to walk down, and there was trash 5-6 feet high everywhere, and we didn't expect any of that because the place had been a funeral home. So it's not something you're going to expect to walk into, but it was one of those things where an old time funeral home where it was attached to the big house to it, kind of thing like that. But it was a great location, but it was such a bummer for me because I'm sitting outside all night. Yes, we were separated that night.
And if it was an old funeral home, you're just kind of glad that odor is cats.
There was no denying that it was cats.
Yeah,
but that's true. There's no polite way to walk up to somebody and say, "Okay, no, we'd love to come help you, and we can bring a few things, and we'll see if we can validate what you're experiencing." But oh, by the way, do you live in filth? There's no polite way to ask that question.
No. And he didn't bother to tell us either. So.
I would definitely put that on your list. Do you have pets? That way you can say, if you have dogs or something, maybe you could, get them out of the house so we don't hear the barking.
Right.
Just.
Or how many?
Yeah.
Well, this place was vacant. They had cleared all this out, but this
is just where they'd had so many cats there, and they would have had to have burnt the place down to get the smell out.
Yeah, there was claw marks up the wall 6 feet high, and it was wood flooring, and of course, they literally had to have ripped all the wood flooring out. It was just. And the guy was talking about turning it into a bed and breakfast. I'm like, man, you're gonna have to put a lot of bucks into this thing because you practically have to rebuild it.
Maybe if he did a bed and breakfast for just cats.
The cat hotel.
That would have been perfect for just cats.
It would have worked.
Yeah.
The cat condo.
Yeah.
But no, to our defense, usually when we're on the larger investigations, we have the techie side and we have the met aside, and then we have somewhere in the middle to where we all kind of blend and meld.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a tendency to take off with people like Tommy Golden, Tim Rancorn, all them, and go play with lots of blinky lights and cameras
Not so much
and
blinky lights. It's got to have batteries.
spinny stuff and, you know, remote control whatevers.
Well, usually whoever we work with, you know, there'll be some techie person there. So I mean, I think like you said, it all works. We all find, you know, a middle common ground. So
Right.
But at the larger locations, I mean, that is a good thing a lot of times with that, because you've got the ability to do that without really, I mean, you got the room to do it. And so it just depends. I mean, we set up at a hospital, we set up a ton of equipment, and you know, it's more time consuming, of course, but you know, you got so many more opportunities to catch something.
And you got more areas to cover, so.
So yeah, we had cameras like everywhere. So and we did. In fact, one time we went down there, we pulled out like all the stops because the place was just so large. And it's not Old South, by the way. If you're
I wasn't gonna ask.
if you're thinking that, no, this is a place that nobody really knows about, and
They're holding that on us.
And I believe they did tell us about it at full moon, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, probably did. Yeah. So and you know, it's a great place. It just unfortunately needs a lot of work, and you know, I mean, at one time we'd actually thought about starting to run it, just like they're doing out at Old South, but it just needs too much work. It's unfortunate because it's extremely haunted place. I mean, it is a great location. It's never failed, and we just got a ton of stuff out of there. But then again, you know, I mean, those kind of places, hospitals, and are probably some of the best locations that there are.
Right.
Well, they're like train stations for
the other world.
For the spirit. I mean,
That's
because you're coming in. When you're born there, most Americans nowadays are born in a hospital. Most.
Part of my ring.
Oh, I thought you were worried about him being alive.
No.
He's kicking.
My ring popped.
A lot of people die there.
And then most everybody dies there.
And then you've got so many traumatic experiences that happen, even if somebody doesn't die there. You know, people are coming in terribly sick or in a car accident. I mean, there's just a lot of energy that hangs out in there and stays there.
Even people that had worked there. I mean, two different areas of the hospital we went to, while the place was still open, they were seeing a lady had worked in the cafeteria there. I mean, other employees, doctors, nurses, and then there was a doctor that had worked there that had got murdered, and they were still seeing him up in a lot of the areas of the hospital. And you know, I actually witnessed that. We were at a nurse's station and seen you know, this misty form come walking down the hallway and went right into the elevator shaft right in front of me. And later found out that there had been reports in that same area, that same type of thing happening, and they felt there was a nurse that had died and worked on that floor. So you got that aspect of it too. I mean, people that's just so their life was there. They would spend so much of their life working there and everything. And
well, I think we got intelligent and a lot of residual there.
Yeah.
I think you get both in a location like that.
I don't know. We get all kinds of craziness.
Yeah, we've with a lot of what we've got and a lot of what we've experienced. Kim kind of came up with it about a year ago. I'm not so sure that the two of us even actually believe in the whole term of residual haunting anymore. And the only reason I say that is because we've both been through times in our lives where we've become very habitual, where you're getting up at the same time, you're going to bed at the same time,
You're making
showering
the bed at
same
the
time.
same time.
So I think it's the same on the other side. I like to give credit to the other side. I don't think you can. I think it's the same thing. I think it's somebody going through their life, but I think they're still.
My issue with residual is most of the buildings we go into are 50, 75, 100, 200 years old. If the wall is going to hold the energy, you would think it would hold it of everybody who's been in there.
Right.
Not just one person. So us walking in would be like walking into a rock concert. It would be so full. But just to
That's
see
a good
one
point.
particular person, I don't understand why that would happen.
Well, do you think it's, have you ever heard of time slips? I mean, do you think it could be actually...
Groundhog's Day. It's a really good way of thinking about it. Is kind of like Groundhog's Day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, time. You have to remember, time's going to pass at a different pace. Once you pass away, the whole Gregorian calendar and the watches we wear and the phones, that all goes away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think on the other side, I think it may be people trying to correct they could be trying to correct something that happened the last day that they remember being alive or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a videotape. That's the common from the Valiant plumbers, the theory that they put out there that it's like a videotape replaying over and over. I have issues with that.
I mean, like the bird cage, the
Right.
forts they're going to. There were so many deaths, so many things going on at the bird cage, so many different things going on at the fort. Why would it only get the lady dusting? Why would the only residual reel be the lady dusting the mantle? Why would the only one be the lady walking down the steps? To me, that makes no sense.
Yeah, most of the stuff that we've experienced and caught has been intelligent. I mean, we haven't really ran into that incident I just talked about. Could possibly be something like that, you know. But most of the stuff that we've caught, it does seem to be like, you know, intelligent interaction.
Right.
So I mean, actually, we got a pretty profound EVP at that hospital. I was looking down the hallway and actually seeing like a shadow person. I could see the legs like moving, walking from one room directly across the hallway into another room, just from the ambient light coming through the windows and stuff, and went after it. And a friend of ours, Brent Rains, his wife was the closest to me, and she started walking along there, and I went into the room where I saw it go into, and started talking to it, and so did she. And she says, "Well, do you need any help? Is there anything we can do for you?" And we got a very clear, full voice EVP, and it's a man, and he says, "That's not the problem." So it was like an EVP to really get you thinking.
Right. But I mean, to me, I would just think if the wall's going to contain your energy, it's going to contain everybody who's been in there.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think, you know, people talk about residual, but I mean, these are just theories. It could be exactly what you're describing, where they're just trying to recreate what they did every day. I mean, like if we see a spirit at the hospital travel down the hallway and go into an elevator, I mean, of course, this place it doesn't work anymore, but
Right.
Obviously they're recreating something that they did every day. Maybe that's just, you know, something that they're trying to do to remember or to feel like they're living again.
Well, and I mean, if they're crabby or, you know, pranksters or whatever, who's to say they're just not ignoring you? They're just not interested. I mean, some of these locations, there's been hundreds of teams in there. Maybe they're bored.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think, and that's why sometimes I don't want to go to a location where I know 200 other people have been. I really think there's something to say about walking into a place for the first time.
Right.
I think it's almost, you can almost feel a different kind of energy. And I'm saying that from just having gone back to a location multiple times. You know, it even starts feeling different.
Well,
when continue to go back.
We think, a few of us anyway, think that, you know, if you go to a location multiple times, they get comfortable with you.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
So
True.
I mean that's also a two-way street. I mean, they can either get comfortable enough to where they want to tell you what's going on, or they get comfortable enough with you to where they just don't care that you're there anymore.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's just you.
Yeah, actually, that hospital's another case in point. I got an EVP walking down maybe the third time I think that we had went there, and says, "Hello, Bret." You know, it was just like they obviously had heard us talking when we were there before, knew my name. Matter of fact, we had got several EVPs of the so-called cafeteria lady that had told us that this was her place, and everything. You know, obviously she felt that that particular area was her domain, and we caught one there. You know, that she clearly said that she goes, "I know you."
Right.
And it was a situation like that. So sometimes they'll talk to you more because, like you said, they feel more comfortable, and other times possibly they're just bored that you're there again. It's like, well, just go hide somewhere.
Right. Well, we've talked to them before. We're done. Yeah, you've heard my story. I'm out of here. See you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everybody goes in. That's a problem with like these a lot of these pay to investigate. I hate the term ghost hunt. You know,
me
hunt.
too.
You know, type thing. Because we tell people all the time, like, you don't have to hunt. They're everywhere.
Right.
They're all over the place, and you just aren't aware of them. But that they if you were stuck in a place or a choice, and the people go in there, they're just saying the same thing over and over and over to you. Pretty soon it's gonna. I don't know about you, but I would just say I'm leaving these people. I'm not going to. I've asked this question 50 times, 500 times before.
Well, that's why a lot of people like to go in cold. I like to go in with the information. That way I can ask if so-and-so is here. Because standing there going, is anybody here? Well, you know, you could have 6 of them standing right next to you going, shh, don't say nothing. Let her.
Can you turn off my flashlight? Oh my God, can you turn off my flashlight again?
Okay, if you turn on my flashlight, I promise I'll leave. Okay, can you do it one more time so I can be sure you meant it? Okay, they did it once. Get out.
Wow. Yeah. That's just going to be like
Irritate.
And I'm sorry for everybody. We just ruined about 90% of the ghost shows you'll see for the next few months.
Sorry.
And we're sorry for that.
Actually, we don't watch them.
Oh, I do. I there's one particular team on there who I know one of them is going to wet his pants one of these times, and I want to see it.
The Triumphant Trio.
Yeah.
The only thing I can give a lot of those shows is be careful what you ask for. You walk in asking for stuff to come at you.
And when it does, don't sit there and scream like a little girl and then start cussing it out.
Right.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. And not just for the people that are on shows. A lot of the teams are trying to recreate what they're saying on TV. You know, they're shocked when they get hit or something, but you were asking for it. And I don't really understand that.
Right. Or throw a rock at me. Throw a rocket. Go ahead, I dare you. And all of a sudden a rocket's thrown at you, and then you're standing there going, you threw a rock at me. Well, didn't you just tell him to?
Yeah. And start cutting out for doing so.
Yeah.
To me, that's ridiculous. So I like to go in with a name so I can ask if that person is there. And instead of, to me, it's just disrespectful. That would be like someone walking through my front door going, hey, is anybody home? Who are you? What's your name?
Yeah.
Can you tell me where you live? Hello, you're in my house.
I think just a couple places we did that. We had names of that children. And by doing that, it's very helpful because I think they actually appreciate that you know who you are. It seems like you're a lot quicker and a lot more responsive.
Right. Well, and it makes them feel like, you know, maybe you know them, maybe you know, even if, you know, it's like a really old person who had passed 100 years ago, maybe you're a great-great-great-grandkid or something. You know my name. Okay, let's talk.
Yeah.
As compared to, you know, sitting there screaming stupid stuff into the air. Anybody here want to talk? You know, we are going to be the worst spirits ever once we all pass. Because when the paranormal people start going, do you have anything to say? Not to you.
Yeah.
Is anybody here? Duh. We're going to be such snarky ghosts. It's not even
Well,
funny.
you have to think too. The next generation of ghost hunters out there too, especially with like Jackass being on the air now, the next generation of ghost hunters is going to have to like wear protective gear.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be pretty brutal. I mean, let's just throw it out there.
When they say throw something at me, we're going to be sure we can
Yeah.
aim it.
We'll get 12 or 14 of our buddies together and throw a whole door at you or something.
Heave ho.
You know, and then laugh about it for 100 years, and then we'll do it again.
So yeah, be careful what you wish for, because eventually we will be them.
That's right.
It's true.
Kind of like our new show that's coming on Thursdays, the Slab's coming to us, and that's their catch line is, eventually you all come here. You're eventually all on the slab, eventually.
We did a presentation on the Fayetteville, Tennessee at the Art Center down there one time. Sam Nicholas is a good friend of ours, speaks a lot of work. He got up, it was me, him, Brent Raines that night. He didn't have a PowerPoint, so he talked about some gear like that. And he said a hilarious line that we were laughing and making fun of it, but the more he thought about it, it's like it made sense. And he says, "Oh, you know, ghosts it's like, can I explain it like this? They're like us, only dead." So
That is so profound.
Well,
it is. We were laughing at Sandy that, but then we started thinking about it. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and another really sad thing a lot of people do is, when did you die? If they don't know they died, guess what? You've just upset the poor people.
Or they don't know that they're dead.
That's why I said, if they don't know they're dead.
Well, what I'm saying is that'd be like somebody walking up and asking, well, what's the price of Trident in China? Who cares? They're just going to ignore the question because it has no, you know, they're going to think they're talking to somebody behind them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm alive. I don't know about you. I don't know who this weirdo kind of, I can't quite see all of them over here person is, but he's asking some kind of weird crap. Give him $1, maybe he'll go away. He wants me to touch his flashlight. I don't understand it.
Maybe that's why I got paid $10 at Fort Mifflin, to make me go away.
You know? I got
Yes,
a nickel.
it makes you want. They don't think we're the ghosts.
That's exactly what I say.
Well, or do they only see us like some of us see them? Do they only catch glimpses of us, shadows? You know, the peripheral vision type thing.
Very good question. We all assume that they can see us, they can't see them, and it may be exactly what you're describing.
Well, we've did experiments, like even the spirit box, where we've held objects up, or, you know, one in particular, just Gina and I were doing a spirit box at home, and she said, what color shirt is Brett wearing? And the response was, don't trick us. And the reason it said that was I didn't have a shirt on. So they obviously could see us, and I didn't.
But can they see you, or did they touch you and you didn't realize it?
Well, they could have. I mean, we've had read stuff that we did cue cards and put stuff up, names that you're not going to hear on the video, like Billy Upstairs.
Right.
And
Jebediah.
one time we did it with Raines, and we had him write it down, and he was writing down UFO investigators' name. You know, people that maybe living here were just
random
stuff, and they were getting the names and stuff. So it seems they could definitely see us, unless they're just reading our minds, or, you know, that we're looking. They knew what he wrote down because he thought about what he wrote down.
Maybe once they get to the other side, they all become clear everything, and they don't have to see us. They just sense, you know, everything that's going on. We don't know.
Like I said, you know, you got 100% correct. The time doesn't exist in the dimension, and it seems like, you know, the past, present, future all exist at once. So it's easy for them to talk about a past that they seem to know about it. Of course, they know the present, and we've had them predict future events, actually warnings to people that, so they do seem to be able to perceive all that at once.
Yep, I would agree. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to go, guys. No, seriously, I've got another radio show I do here in about 50 minutes, and as much as I hate to cut this off, we really do.
Yes, and I unfortunately have a 17-year-old whiner over there going, "Hello, you've been my time."
Yeah.
Because he can't find the back door anymore.
But thank you for having us on. I really enjoyed talking.
Thank you so much. We just adore you guys.
Yeah. Don't be strangers, and look for the link on Facebook. I'll have this up sometime, probably by tomorrow morning.
And you'll get to see the other half.
We were just in Brett Steiner's new book, and if you're into ghosts, this is a book you got to have. So it's everybody knows Brett Steiner, and we've got a couple pieces in there that we did. Got photographs and everything, but this book is chock full of all kinds of interesting ghost stories.
Awesome.
And our viewers can find you on Facebook. Do you have a website? I know you've got multiple Facebooks.
HaloParanormal.com. It basically will take you back to Facebook or our YouTube channel. We put a lot more audio evidence. But Facebook.com/Halo Paranormal.
Awesome.
I won't tell you the rest of their Facebooks.
A good paranormal investigator could find it. Just saying.
That's right.
Just saying.
I found them all.
But we got a jet.
Yeah, we have to go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
Bye, guys.
We will have to get together soon.
And everybody out there, travel safe on the holidays, and we'll see you next Friday with Paranormal. Bill Connolly will be with us next Friday, so tune in.
Because it's not his Thanksgiving, he's from Canada.
Yeah, they have like a chicken day or whatever.
It's Box Day or something.
Something weird. And they'll tell you they're sorry for it.
Check out Halo Paranormal. Look them up. Make friends with them. They're great people. Seriously, they are. We have... Yeah.
Busy-ish.
Busy's good.
Well, it keeps me out of 7-Elevens at night.
I don't know. I just got back from Frankenstorm, so I'm still trying to get over that.
Yeah.
I saw some posts where you were making some rounds to pretty cool places.
Oh yeah, it was a whirlwind tour. We flew into Philadelphia Friday. Saturday we were at Valley Forge. We were at Fort Mifflin. Sunday we drove up to Gettysburg. Monday we drove really fast back to get away from Frankenstorm.
Ow.
And then the next Sunday we went up to the Shanley Hotel.
Wow.
That sounds like a great trip.
Oh, had a blast.
She's a jet set paranormal investigator. She can't help it.
I guess so.
That's a lot of
That's more traveling than rock stars right there.
wonderful locations.
It was so cool to get them all in one group, because last year I had gone up at the same time, and we were supposed to go to Valley Forge, but that freak blizzard came in. Apparently I'm only invited up there when there's freak storms. So we made it to the Shanley, but we had to run out of there real quick, and we made it to Gettysburg, but this is my first time at Valley Forge or Fort Mifflin.
Great.
And I got to go in Casemate 11. Yay!
Wow. Yeah, we're actually still trying to get up to Gettysburg. Mm-hmm. Of course, around where we're at, there's so many battlefields and famous battlefields, and we're doing a lot of investigating where we'll come across soldiers and spirits of soldiers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so, but Gettysburg's on the list for us. We're just trying to fit it in.
Oh, I have the perfect place for you up there.
looks like a man. Lord, that lamb just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarm setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee.
It's called the Battlefield Bed and Breakfast. It's actually on the South Battlefield.
Huh.
And the original part of the house, you can, it's a bed and breakfast they built onto, I think in the 70s they put the additions on. But you can still sleep in the old part that was built in 1809. I mean, it was taken over by the military and used as a hospital and all kinds of stuff. And we've got some cool stuff up there.
Yeah, anytime we did a couple recording studios here down on the road, and we live in the Nashville area, for anybody that doesn't know. So of course, the music aspect of it, and one of them, the building is so old that it was at one time an old church, and then they used it as a makeshift hospital in the war. So they were getting so much stuff in there that the studio owner, he called us in. He goes, I'm losing like major clients in this place because they're too afraid to record here. And he swore us to secrecy and all that. And so, and it was an extremely active place. But we think most of it had to do with what happened with the Civil War and the hospital and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, this particular bed and breakfast, the Gettysburg battle lasted for 3 days. It was taken over on the third day. But I mean, it's 10 minutes from the Jenny Wade house and
nice.
All that kind of stuff. And the lady who owns it is great, and the food is even better. Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely get the name from you again before we go. It sounds like a great place to stay.
You know, we get up close to there. We've been to Ohio several times on Bigfoot stuff and a couple of investigations.
He's having a fit.
Hey, it's not so much a fit anymore.
It's a fit.
Do have a whole bunch of new shows coming. We do want everybody to be safe next week. If you're traveling on holiday weeks, always be safe. You won't see us until after the holidays, so we wanted to say now, Happy Thanksgiving.
After the holidays or after Thanksgiving?
Holiday.
I was going to say, we get a 7-week break and no one told me?
I do. I don't know what you're doing. I'm just kidding. But yeah, everybody just travel. Be sure and travel safe this week. It's crazy out there.
Yeah.
Definitely nuts. And buy all the Twinkies you can. Because they are fixing to go up in value. I'm pretty sure on the Antiques Roadshow we're going to see some Twinkies before it's all over with.
Well, the ones I liked are already on the Antiques Roadshow because I like the old banana ones.
Yeah. But tonight on Pema TV we are joined by some really good friends of ours, and unfortunately we haven't seen them in quite a while.
We met them a little over 2 years ago at Scarefest.
Oh.
They had a booth. We tormented them till they left their booth. Yeah.
And then we stalked them and bullied them until they became our friends.
That's right.
Go us. But tonight we are joined by Halo Paranormal, also known as...
Bret and Gina.
Hi guys, how are y'all?
Hey, how are you doing?
How's it going?
If I was a puppy, I'd need two tails.
And I'd run over one of them.
Yeah, yes you would.
So how's it going up there, guys?
We have been really, really busy.
Very.
Really?
How are things in Texas?
Busy.
Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set. Let's turn off these lights. 'Cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set. Let's turn off these lights. 'Cause all my rider friends are ghost hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
Welcome everybody to PEF. Welcome to Pema TV.
Welcome to November 16th, 2012.
Yes.
And
already.
the stupid Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, just to say that a little bit. Yeah. We're glad everybody could be here tonight. A couple of real quick things. We do have a link exchange program going on. I just want to remind everybody. Up above, you'll see a tab, one of the tabs that says links on the website. If you'd like to exchange links with us, just contact us here or find us on Facebook. If you've never heard of Facebook, down below the chat box, there's our social media buttons with every place that we are at. You can contact us at any one of those places, but please follow us. Click follow us.
Yes, please click follow us because